Georgia, I bet you this way too.
Oh, I'm sure he had it. Beautiful.
Oh, I've never heard of Indian Island either, but that's great.
Don't look it up. Alan, how mad would you be, or Spencer, either one, if you died and they're like, we're gonna memorialize you with the street name? Street name is Stone Mountain. Those shits have been around for so long. Yeah.
You can tell I've never had this show while I haven't been in charge of it. It's the highlight reel.
It's like the back of the back. It's like, oh yeah, man.
Hi everybody, good evening to you. Thank you for tuning in and for watching this check of the First Alert forecast. We are streaming here just after 8 p.m. Here to talk weather. Not too much going on in our overnight forecast, but we do have weather coming up for the Thanksgiving holiday, in particular Black Friday into Saturday, and it does look like we'll begin to dry out on our Sunday. So want to kind of hop in here pretty quickly, get into the nitty-gritty details, but also want to give folks a few minutes to go ahead and come on in. So just a heads up, going to go a little slow initially. We'll take a live look outside, look at some current conditions, and then we will jump ahead after people have had a few moments to tune in, and we'll dive deeper into the forecast. Again, we are streaming live across many platforms right now, including the Atlanta News First Facebook page, also on YouTube. Live look at the Facebook page right now. Folks joining in, good evening to everyone that is watching. Also, we are streaming live on YouTube. Again, Atlanta News First, the YouTube account that we're on, Atlanta News First, the Facebook account that we are streaming on. And we're also live on Roku, Amazon Fire, as well as YouTube Live, of course, as mentioned, the Atlanta News First news app and the weather app, atlantanewsfirst.com, live in a lot of places. So as promised, let's begin with that live look outside. And it's a nice one out there. Temperatures are cooling off just a bit, but it is still a nice evening. Maybe want the light jacket. But while we have the clouds now, as the title there says, more sunshine for your Wednesday. We're going to be clearing out a bit overnight tonight into tomorrow morning. That'll mean more sunshine tomorrow, and I do suggest you get outside and enjoy it because we do have stormier, much cloudier weather on the way coming up in the First Alert forecast. Now, I'm going to spend a moment to go ahead and dive into that forecast. Again, we'll circle back here in case anyone misses it. But the highlight is the fact that we have a First Alert Friday, First Alert Saturday. Rain becomes widespread. Thanksgiving night, after everyone's dinners and festivities and family celebrations are over. And by the time you wake up Black Friday morning, even if you're up early, maybe to hit the stores early Friday morning, you're probably going to be dealing with a little bit of rain. And then as we go into our Saturday, I think a second round of rain moves in. The timing, the exact details of the timing with that second round is still a little uncertain. Nonetheless, it does look like a second round of rain could impact UGA play. That's one thing that could be impacted by rain, or anyone that maybe put off the Thanksgiving celebrations to the weekend, to Saturday. You too may have to be dealing with a little bit of rain. Before we talk about the setup, let's go ahead and take you out in a sense. You're talking about temperatures this evening. Well ahead of that rain, we have the clouds, meaning a slower cool down this evening, but it's still jacket weather out there. 43 up in Blairsville, the mountains of North Georgia. 52 in Atlanta, Carrollton and LaGrange, upper 40s. 52 Locust Grove and Covington, Athens, Rome, the far northwest side up in Floyd and Chattooga County areas, temperatures back in the mid 40s. And we do have clouds around. Probably noticed those today, right? A few spritzes as well across North Georgia and in metro Atlanta early today. But overall, the real rain is staying well to our south and to our southwest. You see down along the I-10 corridor, southeast Texas, Louisiana, Mississippi, Alabama, portions of Florida. That's where the wet weather has been and will continue to be. Earlier little spritzes here that we're moving through North Georgia this evening. We're talking about those this evening on Atlanta News First. Those are now crossing the Savannah River, moving into the Midlands and upstate of South Carolina out of North Georgia and the Atlanta News First viewing area. So in general, decent evening ahead. Yeah, we have the clouds, but actually helping to keep us just a little bit milder overnight tonight. It would probably be a good 5, 6, 7 degrees colder right now at 8:08 p.m. had it not been mostly cloudy all day and still mostly cloudy to cloudy at the moment. Again, we are chatting weather here. If you're just tuning in, we're live on the Atlanta News First Facebook page or YouTube page as well. Streaming out across many platforms, atlantanewsfirst.com and the news app, the weather app, Roku, Amazon Fire, a lot of places that we are live streaming. But if you have any weather questions and comments, maybe concerns about the upcoming holiday forecast, you can ask those. And I'm here to answer those questions on Atlanta News First, the Facebook page, and on our YouTube live stream, watching that on the monitor to the left, watching Facebook on both monitors. So have my eyes on both. If I do miss a question, comment, concern, though, do apologize. Reminder, you can always reach out to me on my Facebook page, Twitter, Instagram at Cutter Martin. That is going to be CUTTER MARTIN. And feel free to holler at me, holiday weather or regardless, anytime. The entire First Alert weather team is there to answer your questions. All right, let's go through the hour by hour right now. We have the clouds, and we'll have them for another several hours. Backing up the forecast model here, 8 p.m. Tuesday. That's, now we have temperatures in the upper 40s, lower 50s, lots of clouds. Even by midnight, 1 a.m., we still have quite a bit of cloud cover with temperatures in the mid to upper 30s, Clayton, Blairsville, Dalton, Rome. So despite the clouds, which tend to slow the cool down and keep it a little warmer in the overnights, we're still going to be chilly, especially on the north side, but mid-40s 3 a.m. in Atlanta. And I think out the door tomorrow morning, 7, 8 a.m., we're breaking out into more sunshine. Temperatures colder up in the mountains. Could see a light freeze. Dalton, Blairsville, Helen, Ivy Log, Ellijay, up into Clayton, Rabun County, Georgia, and then Clayton County, North Carolina. The highest elevations could see a light freeze in the morning. Now, as we check out the rest of the area tomorrow morning, 7, 8 o'clock, we'll pause it, and you notice Atlanta clearing out 45, LaGrange 42, Griffin 42, 39 Covington, and 40 in Athens. Rolling this forward in time, notice how we are still in the low to mid 60s by 1 p.m. So a little on the cool side for the lunch hour, but warmer than it was today and certainly warmer than it has been. And clouds move back in after a nice kind of sunny start to the day. They are back in full force 2, 3, 4 o'clock in the afternoon. Temperatures back in the mid to upper 60s for a time. Lots of clouds around tomorrow afternoon and evening, but we are dry. And we can go a little further in time here out the door Thursday morning. That's Thanksgiving morning. Maybe you're getting up early, last minute items at the grocery store, temperatures 30s and 40s. Light jacket, but it's not too cold out there, but the clouds will be pretty plentiful on through the afternoon. That's even well ahead of any rain that falls. I think it's going to be a gray Thanksgiving, but also, despite the cloudiness, kind of a dry Thanksgiving, a mostly dry Thanksgiving, and we're fairly confident about that part of the forecast. But things will change as we get into Black Friday, as we get into the Saturday after Thanksgiving, as folks are maybe either heading back into North Georgia or commuting from North Georgia back to their home. That is when the weather will begin to deteriorate and go downhill. We'll bring that forecast back up. Going to switch graphics here, take you a little further out in time. This is a forecast model, kind of like the one you were just looking at, but kind of an expanded view. This is forecast radar. Tomorrow, notice how we're dry here in North Georgia, rain offshore down along the Gulf Coast, really offshore out in the Gulf of Mexico. And then back into Texas, that's kind of where our storm system originates from. Notice how showers and thunderstorms, they really break out on Thanksgiving. So if you're planning on flying through Dallas Wednesday into Thanksgiving, or Houston Wednesday into Thanksgiving, Oklahoma City, maybe El Paso, you're going to be flying into potentially some weather. But most of this will hold off until Thanksgiving Day itself across the southern plains. Could even be a pretty healthy snow, talking about a snow storm, basically, some heavy snow possibly. As we get into Thanksgiving Day itself, the Thanksgiving evening stretch into Black Friday, notice here in eastern New Mexico, northwest Texas, that's cold air, allowing this to fall as snow closer to the center of this area of low pressure. Now out ahead of it, we have a little ripple in the jet stream, little storm system kind of moving through ahead of that main system out in Texas. That is going to bring widespread rain to North Georgia on our Black Friday, possibly starting to rain even before you're up and at 'em and out of the stores. But surely by midday, we have rain in the area. And watch what happens here as I go forward in time. This system kind of sits out here for 24, 36 hours. We'll roll you back here. Now going back forward in time, basically what we were just doing. Here we are, system stalls Thursday, kind of backs up into deep south and southwest Texas on Friday. Though we still get rain, the center of the storm, the cause of the nasty weather is still well to our west. And then that parent system, the main storm with the L you see on the map there, begins to move north and east, and that'll bring our final round of widespread rain and some thunderstorms back into the forecast Saturday into Sunday. Now, timing with that second round, it is still uncertain. How early does that second round move in on our Saturday? Current data favors evening into night in the wee hours of Sunday morning. If that holds, that means the UGA game, Georgia Tech and Georgia, could actually go off with little fanfare and go down as being mostly dry. But there are also signs this could move in a little earlier. It could impact Saturday afternoon weather across North Georgia, the city of Atlanta, Athens, across the board. So this is something to watch, and if you are planning to head out to the game, certainly something to go ahead and keep an eye on. So that's the forecast through Saturday night, Sunday. This is going to be out of here by mid-Sunday morning or so. Now you may be wondering how much rain falls during that time period. We're forecasting widespread wet weather, easily an inch or two across North Georgia. Dalton, Rome, Cartersville, Beaufort, Atlanta, Douglasville, Covington, Griffin. No matter where you live in North Georgia, pretty healthy rain out of this. I'd say easily an inch of rain, averaging between an inch and 2 inches of rain between the two rounds. So the round that moves through Friday and then the round that moves through late Saturday into the wee hours of Sunday, you add those two rain totals up, and we're looking at an average of 1 to 2 inches across North Georgia. But a few spots we'll see 3 inches, maybe a couple spots more than that, especially down in central Alabama, Birmingham area, and then over into the mountains of North Georgia. Obviously the terrain kind of bumping up the rain scenario there and giving some heavier rain totals to the mountains of North Georgia. We typically do see that, especially in this type of setup. So the potential is there for inches of rain. We still need some rain at this point, and it looks like it's going to fall over a period of, a day and a half, 2 days. So that's a long enough period to kind of reduce the risk of flooding. If we were seeing 3 inches of rain in an hour or two, then the risk of flooding would be greater, but that doesn't appear to be the case. Rain could be briefly heavy, but it'll fall in the period of hours, and then we'll get a big break between these two rounds. Going to go ahead and show you that 7-day forecast now. And notice how the weather quickly improves during the day of Sunday. In fact, most of the rain out of here by wake up Sunday as it looks right now. But before that, first alert round of rain Friday. Could be some rumbles of thunder, brief heavy rain. Similar forecast Saturday, though rain may hold off a little later in the day into the wee hours of Sunday morning. Nonetheless, this is a time period to watch. And then Sunday through the day, we dry out. A little cooler, though, only 60 Sunday afternoon, upper 30s, lower 40s. Monday after Thanksgiving morning as you maybe trudge on back into the office. Maybe want the coat, a little chilly again. But mid-60s, sunshine on our Monday afternoon, mid to upper 60s Tuesday afternoon. And looking further out in the forecast, we actually do have a little bit of a warm-up in that extended forecast. In fact, I can show you the 10-day, and you have access to it as well at atlantanewsfirst.com. I want to first tell you on the homepage, upper right-hand corner, we have the weather story, another one focused on that Friday, Saturday rain. They're both available on the homepage. If you want more, just click First Alert Weather up at the top. And this will load up and route you to the weather page. That forecast is there as well as current conditions. Scroll down just a bit and you see that 10-day forecast, and notice how we stay in the 60s. And mostly dry until later Wednesday into Thursday of next week as the next storm system and cold front moves through North Georgia and in metro Atlanta, and that'll bring the next chance of rain and perhaps the next more significant cool down back to the forecast. I want to thank you, everyone that watched this evening, no matter what platform you are on. Appreciate the follow, the viewers, everyone chiming in. Have yourself a wonderful evening. We're back on Atlanta News First at 9 p.m. We have a 10 p.m. hour, and during that 10 p.m. stretch into the top of the 11 o'clock newscast on Atlanta News First, we will start to get some of our evening data, the new stuff, back into the Weather Center. So any updates, though, don't anticipate anything major right now. We'll pass those along to you live on Atlanta News First. You can also grab that forecast at atlantanewsfirst.com, stream the newscast, or get the forecast in the Atlanta News First Alert Weather app. Have yourself a wonderful evening. We'll leave you with a live look at a very busy Hartsfield-Jackson Atlanta International Airport as folks flock to the runways to head to their Thanksgiving destinations. Have yourself a wonderful, wonderful evening. Enjoy it. We'll keep you updated on this rain that moves in within the next few days.